Welcome to Bridgewater State University.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's info session about student accessibility services here at Bridgewater State University. My name is Jenna. I am the Associate Director. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am speaking to you from my home office, which I am packing up because I am on the verge of moving. I am wearing a purple cardigan, shiny necklace, and a headset. We have enabled the auto captions. So we'll try to speak at a pace where they get picked up with some degree of accuracy. So again, this is the info session about student accessibility services, and I am joined tonight by a few members of our team. So I will pass it over to them to introduce themselves. Why don't we start with Sarah Parker?
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Parker. I am the Assistive Technology Specialist in Student Accessibility Services, and my pronouns are also she, her, hers.
How about Tabitha?
Hi everyone, my name is Tabitha Stores and I'm an accessibility specialist in student accessibility services. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm working from home today and I'm wearing a tan sweater and it's really great to be here with you guys.
And joining us also today is Jennifer Bagden.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Bagden. I'm the administrative assistant for the SAS department, and I am working from home and wearing a purple sweater.
So again, we are Student Accessibility Services. Our office used to be known as the Disability Resources Office, but we felt a little like pigeonholed with that title. We do a lot more than what that title encompassed, and based on student feedback and kind of the swing of the community, we have renamed ourselves. Our mission here at Student Accessibility Services is to empower students to access a meaningful university experience and become well-informed self-advocates. It is really important to know that 23% of our student body self-identified as having a disability during our 2018 climate survey. We work with over 1,000 students each year, so you are definitely not alone. In fact, you're in fantastic company, and we are happy to have you join us. As we said, our goal is ultimately to create a fully accessible campus. The image that we have ahead of you shows 3 different squares, the first one representing equality, the second accommodation, and the third accessibility. This is sort of how we envision that flow that we are trying to make sure that BSU gets to that full accessibility stage. So in the equality frame, you can see that there are 3 individuals, a taller person, a shorter person, and a person sitting on a walker, all trying to write on a chalkboard. And the tallest person, because the chalkboard is raised high, has the ability to write on it with really no visible barriers. The shorter person is struggling, and the person that's sitting on the walker is not able to reach the chalkboard. Through accommodation, which is what we offer to many of our students, the shorter person is granted a box to stand on, and the person utilizing the walker is given a ramp, and that raises both of them to the same height as the taller person, and they're all able to write on the board effectively. And then in the final frame, we have accessibility, which in this case was lowering the chalkboard so that nobody needed accommodations and they were all able to write on that chalkboard. So again, as we journey to that point of accessibility, accommodations are often helpful for students with documented diagnoses, and we provide those through our office as well as some other services. So these are the many things that we do. It is not a fully comprehensive list, but it'll give you a good sense of what's going on. So we have a peer mentoring program, which Tabitha can talk about in just a second. We also do events with our peer mentors and other events for the community. We have assistive technology, which Sarah can talk about, especially in our adapted lab and our accessible testing area. We offer pretty comprehensive deaf and hard of hearing services, various classroom accommodations, mobility planning, and adaptive equipment. We are part of an interdisciplinary team that considers requests for housing, meal plan, and parking exceptions. We specifically work with students to consider their requests for emotional support animals if they're residing on campus, or if they have a service dog, we help them plan for having that service dog on campus. We have another member of our team, Mike, who works with our athletes for NCAA related accommodations and athletic academic recovery plans. And we make referrals all over the campus. So the big one that we really want to highlight for you is the Academic Achievement Center, which we'll go into a little bit more in detail. We can refer you to all sorts of different clubs and organizations, and we work incredibly closely with various groups on campus, including the Wellness Center, the Pride Center, and more. So let's see here. Tabitha, would you mind giving a brief overview of peer mentoring?
So peer mentoring is a program that I coordinate through SAS, and basically it's a program where we match up upperclassmen BSU students with incoming freshman students to basically assist with the transition from high school to college. There are definitely different experiences that students may have that are more challenging than others, and a mentor is a great opportunity to kind of bridge that gap as you are trying to navigate those different situations. They work with students on things that are academic related, such as study habits, organization, time management skills, but they also help with kind of the BSU community and socialization aspects. So a mentor can take you to an event on campus or connect you with the various clubs and organizations on campus. So it is a really great opportunity to kind of have somebody help you navigate your first year. So if you're interested, when you attend BSU and you're working with our office, make sure to ask about peer mentoring.
Awesome, thank you. And Sarah, would you mind talking a little bit about assistive technology in our adaptive lab?
So I work with students to identify different assistive technology supports that can help them in their classroom or while they're working on assignments from home, different hardware like recording devices and software, like different apps that could help them or software to help with note taking and things like that. So students will come in and meet with me and talk about the work they're doing, and we can come up with lots of different ideas that students can try to support them. We also have the adaptive lab like Jenna was talking about. So that's where students can come if they would like a private testing area, or sometimes students have extra time, things like that. So you can work with our office to identify all these different types of tools and supports that could be beneficial for you.
It is important to note that the accommodations process and what accommodations are look different sometimes in college and at Bridgewater State University versus in the high school arena. That's because there are different laws and guiding philosophy as soon as you leave high school and you get into college. So going in the high school or the K through 12 or K through 21 gamut is the IDEA. It's the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. That's what guides all of that. So that basically guarantees individuals a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. And the responsibility is on the school department, really, to identify students that are eligible for services like an IEP or a 504 plan, and make sure that the student gets evaluated. It's at the expense of the school at that point. And it's a pretty much school-driven and parent-driven process. Once you transition to college, it is all about you. So you are the one guiding everything, and it's about ensuring your access. So the law that really guides us, or the laws that really guide us, are the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, as well as the amendments related to that act, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and then some other laws and guidelines and statutes. But those are the big ones. But basically, the way that this works is that anybody that has a documented diagnosis that significantly impacts one or more major life areas may be eligible for accommodations and other services through our office. But it is up to the student themselves to self-identify and request accommodations, okay? So unlike with the IDEA, where the school kind of keeps an eye out and reaches out to students as needed, this is completely student-driven. If you did, let's say when you applied, happen to submit your IEP or your 504 plan with your application, it does not automatically transfer to us. That goes to admissions. None of that information is shared in our direction, same as we don't share the direction out. We don't share your personal information outward either, okay? So the other difference is in high school, modifications are pretty common, right? So that's changing the standards or the expectations that are placed on a student. One thing that we see pretty frequently is students being granted the modification of being able to retake an exam until they pass it. Or the page length for major papers is reduced by half. Those are things that do not move forward into college. We do not change the definition of success or the criteria for successfully completing courses. We do, however, give you some resources or some accommodations so that you can have a better chance at meeting them, but you are driving that boat. So here are some examples of accommodation for accessing, right? Time and a half on timed exams. That's something that we approve pretty frequently. Use of our reduced distraction testing area, use of speech to text technology. And those accommodations that you are approved for here are going to be based on the documentation that you provide to our office and the interactive process that occurs with you and a member of our team. We'll get more into that as well. So again, it is a very student-led experience. You would have to self-identify and request accommodations from our office. You would be submitting documentation that is required to get that process started. You would be actively participating in that conversation with our team about your experience. And then if you get approved for accommodations, you will get a letter of accommodation and you're responsible for distributing that to your faculty and keeping us updated on how things are going. These are our documentation requirements. So the ones that are in blue, which I will read out in a moment, those are required for all different diagnoses. So you've got to have the actual diagnosis documented. The evaluation where you got that diagnosis has to be conducted by a qualified professional. It needs to be within 3 years. We recognize that there needs to be some flexibility on this because the impact of COVID has really thrown a lot of appointments and assessments for a loop. So if you have a situation where it's outside of that 3 years, let us know and we can see if it's something that we can work with. And the documentation must be on professional letterhead with the license information of the person that is providing it. For learning, intellectual, and cognitive diagnoses, you also need to make sure that there's a clinical summary with a diagnostic interview included in that, actual test scores, for example. And then for documented medical, mobility, physical, emotional, or psychological diagnoses or autism, we do need a summary of the severity of the condition and how it substantially limits major life areas, as well as any active treatments. So all of this information is available on our Bridgewater State University page, which we can put into the chat for you. It also has some additional information to kind of help aid your transition. Our accommodation process, you would self-identify, you would initiate your request for accommodations. A lot of folks do that by emailing us the documentation that's required, and you can send it to sas@bridgew.edu, or you can fax it to us at 508-531-4194, and all of that information is available on our website as well. Our team reviews that documentation. We reach out to you to say, yes, you're good, we have enough. Follow up with us once you've registered for classes. Or if it doesn't quite meet the documentation requirements, we'll connect with you to let you know what else we might need. Once you've registered for classes, you will meet with a member of our team to discuss your unique experience and, like Tabitha said, how that may impact you in the specific classes that you've chosen. You will then get a letter of accommodation. Right now we're sending them via email, and then you can distribute those to any of the faculty for the classes that you would like to implement your accommodations in. Please stay in touch with us. Again, sas@bridgew.edu. We are happy that you joined us. Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you in fall. Fingers crossed.